So recently I bought some super sweet strawberries from the local supermarket today and thought I would prepare them for the week. Sometimes I would quickly just rinse out the strawberry before eating it, but after doing a thorough rinse like this, I realized how dirty strawberries can get. I think by the end of the springtime, I am probably going to get really sick of strawberries, but I've just been putting them into almost everything. My breakfast, my drinks, my snacks, they're just so sweet and delicious this season. It's been so strange because I usually don't like breakfast and I don't like oatmeal, but I have just been on an oatmeal fix in the past couple of weeks. I've been looking forward to making this oatmeal almost every day. This oatmeal recipe is something that I've been playing around with because I've been trying to incorporate protein in with my meals. And so after I heat up the oatmeal along with a frozen banana, I mix in the protein, add in some milk, add in some peanut butter, drizzle on some honey, and then I add in the freeze-dried strawberries and the fresh strawberries. This meal usually hits the spot. It's so delicious and satisfying. So around here, weekends usually gets really busy and crowded almost everywhere you go. I mean, it's not bad as California, but it is pretty crowded. So I set my time off on the weekdays where I would go for short hikes or run errands. Today we're going to explore around the Tonto forest area in Arizona. This is a beautiful protected area. There's supposed to be wild horses around here, but sadly, we didn't get to see any wild horses around this area, but we did find a really beautiful scenic hiking trail along the Swirl Lake, and we got to see some of the giant swirl cactus trees. Out of all the countries and places that I have visited, I would have to say that Arizona is one of the most unique places and beautiful places that I have ever seen and experienced.
We only get one life, I wanna make it count, honey. Come on now and take my hand. Hey, darling, I love it when it's me and you on the road with a couple of tunes in a car for two. Hey, darling, you know we're gonna have a really good time. Driving in the middle of the night when the stars are bright. Pack our bags and get in that car. Leave a little note and we'll drive real far. Let's get out, we can leave this city. Let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so pretty, with the wind blowing in your hair. We can look back someday. Baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make it count, honey. Come on now and take my hand.
Hello! So I wanted to brush up on something that's been going on in my mind, and that is social guilt. And what I mean, my definition of social guilt is like just feeling guilty that I'm not going out and socializing. I feel like there's this standard that's put out there as healthy and normal and how a healthy person should live. And I've seen or have, conversations with people in the past and friends where they're just like trying to find that work-life balance. Sometimes we have to go back and reflect a little bit before we feel this social guilt. My friend invited me out to Vegas because she has this event that she's doing. So there's this guilt in the back of my mind for not going, and it's not the guilt of am I being a good friend or not, or what she thinks of me. What I question the most is Am I living a balanced, healthy lifestyle? Is this not healthy, of wanting solitude, of wanting to be alone? And that's where I kind of have to step back and reflect a little bit more and ask myself some important questions. I was in that guilt. I don't feel like I'm feeling that guilt again, but I wanted to have this conversation with you because I think many of us mistaken our guilt with feeling imbalance and having the longing to get to know ourselves a bit more. So I see right now as an opportunity for me to get to know my current self, get to know who Anne is today. A lot of people, I think unconsciously, they just emotionally purge and dump a lot of emotional feelings onto others without realizing that they are doing that. And it's a very intrusive way of like just taking up people's energy. And I know that people don't do it deliberately or intentionally, but it is very, very draining, and that's just something that I don't have space for anymore. I enjoy learning about a person when I'm getting to know them, but after a while, when that conversations just continuously become a one-way conversation, I don't have that patience anymore, where like it just becomes self-betrayal when you start to sacrifice your time and energy. That's something that I have been very sensitive to, and something that I feel like I don't have enough bandwidth for anymore. And that's another reason why I don't go out and I don't seek like social conversation. Like right now, I'm talking to you, you're holding space for me, and you have a choice to click a button if you do not want to listen to me anymore. So having that choice doesn't drain you from your energy. But we converse through comments, and you're holding space for me by listening to me, and I'm holding space for you by creating content that resonates with you. So that's like a nice balance in exchange of energy, and that's just the way I see it. I think the mistake that many of us make is we're trying to have this balanced lifestyle, and our definition of balance is kind of off because it's very much influenced by what we've been taught, and we forget that balance needs to be what we make of it, and we should redefine what balance is to us. And so I noticed, like, and this is something that I've done before, is that I would try to do a little bit of everything, and like I would try to work, and then I would try to make time for people. But when I do that, when I force myself in situations, when I force myself to do something that I'm not ready to do, I find myself just regretting it and not enjoying the moment or the situation. When I'm out there with friends or people, I want them to have the best version of me, and I don't want to go out there and regret being with them, because then I'm just not the best version of myself. I'm giving them a lower grade version of myself, and I'm not genuinely there for them or for the situation. I was there because I'm trying to live a balanced lifestyle, but in fact, it's self-betrayal of what I really want to do. Like, am I taking care of my body? Am I doing the things that really help me, to get to that mental happiness where I want to be? So before I put myself out into any situation anymore, I ask myself, what would I rather do? I would rather take care of my health. Like, instead of going out to eat super salty, greasy, oily food, I would rather cook myself a nice healthy meal or just go work out. And I know that might sound boring, but that's something that I'd rather take care of first. I think once my life feels a little bit more sustained, not perfect or not 100%, but feels like at a point where it's enough for me, like I'm happy, then I would feel more stable to go out and enjoy things like a nice greasy meal or something like that. But if I haven't taken care of myself first, then, going out, it's just gonna make me feel worse. Then I feel like I'm just gonna snowball downhill because I'm not taking care of any aspect of my life, really. I'm just stretching myself out too thin. So I've been reading this book lately by Dr. Nicole LaPera, and it's How to Do the Work. It's so good. So I'm just in the beginning part of it, the first few chapters, and she talks about self-betrayal. And a lot of us, we don't realize this or recognize it because we're just going through the motion in life through emotions, or we're just living life through emotions. And most of the things that we do it for other people, you know, play the part in society, but really we're neglecting our needs, and we don't realize that it's a form of self-betrayal. Afterwards, we have this resentment towards ourselves, you know, resentment, shame, guilt, and all that would come up. So it's just something really, really interesting. You know, if you're looking for a good read, like, really check this book out. It's so interesting. It's given me so much perspective, and it's quite interesting. So after this week of just contemplating whether if I should go to Vegas or not, it's been really helping me self-reflect a bit more within that part of my life, that social part of my life. I don't think that I'm gonna be like this all the time. I think just this year is a special year, and trying to live a balanced lifestyle doesn't have to be linear. You know, the way that we are so trained to think of it is like, okay, well, you know, I should focus on work, my career on the weekdays, and then on the weekends I should make time for friends. If you feel like being with your friend really help you mentally, really makes you happier, then I think that that's something that will work. But at the same time, I think that we shouldn't feel guilty if we don't make time for that. And it's okay to have a year of solitude to kind of just take care of all the things that you have been neglecting. Each year can be different. Like next year, I can be different. I can be totally different. I could be a social butterfly and just be out there talking to people, listening to people, being okay, holding space for many people who want to just be heard. But this year, you know, it's a year for me to just kind of protect my energy, and a year for me to just work on me before I work on anything else out there. Like, I guess my inner self is calling to that and telling me, you know, hey, there's so many things that we got to work on here, and it's time that we put ourselves first. It's an opportunity, since most of my lifetime I rarely have mental alone space. So now that I have this mental alone space, this is like luxury to me. You know, to some people, they probably can't understand that, but you know, if you're somebody who's always constantly having to think about other people, you know, never having a moment to yourself, like, you will understand. So it's just been very, very interesting. But those are just some of my introspective and reflections that I wanted to share with you, to have this conversations. And I'm wondering where you are in your life. Like, have you felt that way before? And how do you feel about life balance and social guilt? And what are you reflecting from this conversation?